What are y'all doing? Tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing makeup. I already have a tip for y'all. So I did my brows today and they look really, really clean, but they look a little too crispy. And by that, I mean, they look like they don't look soft. Say if you were to see them in person, you would think those look a little too crunchy. So what I like to do is I'll grab my E26 here and just a little bit of brow powder. Okay. And then I'll just kind of push that through and it's going to make the brows look so much softer, but I'm not going to lose the hold of the brow gel that I have on. I don't know what happens. Sometimes this just happens. No matter what gel, it could be my favorite gel. Sometimes because I have a very coarse brow hair, like I mentioned. I was saying when you have a little bit more coarse of a brow hair, just the tiniest too much of brow gel, any brow gel, you might get a little bit of crispiness. So just adding just a touch of brow powder with a really tiny brush like this is just going to make them look a lot softer. I think I want to do a really soft gray smoky eye. Really, really, really soft. Let's use these as a base. This gray is so pretty. These are from Merit. I love these shadows. I love them so much. But you know what? Let me not get ahead of myself. I want to use one kind of to lay down a base first. Let me figure out which one that is. So let's start with this shade. It's called Studio, and we're going to use this. We'll use a little bit of powder eyeshadow too, but I just love these. We'll grab this on our brush. This is from our travel set. And let's just press that through our socket. I think I might have enough on the brush for both. I do. Nice. And then let me locate Sheila. There's Sheila right there. Wipe off our brush. Same side here, and then we'll just lightly transition that. And then there's our first transition. Oh, and these completely dry down too, if you're wondering. You technically don't have to set this shadow, but I want to add more depth, so I'm going to grab another eyeshadow palette. So easy to blend. Let's grab this e.l.f. palette. I feel like that's going to be perfect if we want to build it up a little bit more. It's nice and cool. Let's grab this shade. And we're just going to press that a little bit above our socket. So this is a really good, I'm going to grab some more of that same shade. Notice it's on the one side. We can just kind of push it and see how it's coming right out of the socket. We want that definition there. This little e.l.f. palette is doing what I need it to do. I did see other colors while I was at Target yesterday. I should have grabbed some more of them, but I wanted to use this one some more. Oops, there we go. So let's take a little bit of this shade, press that on our brow bone. That's nice. Soften over that way. Same thing over here. Really think that y'all will like this palette. And it's super affordable too. Oh, before I forget, did you sign up for the giveaway on Rose and Ben Beauty? Did y'all see what we're giving away? Did you see? Just go tap Rose and Ben Beauty here and then you'll see the post. It's my hand holding up brushes. Go enter that giveaway. Now let's do this. Let's grab our little brush. I'm gonna link the set for y'all. And then let's grab this shade. Oh, this shade's so pretty. Then we're gonna tap this on. Start at your lash line so it's nice and even. And remember, anytime we use dark shadows, it's going to look absolutely frightening until the very end. I feel like that's one of the reasons we kind of steer away from them. It's the main reason I used to. How pretty and soft is this Pigeon Belly Gray shadow? It's so soft and so pretty and so easy to apply. And then I'm just gonna soften it a little bit into that other transition we have on. Oh, it's pretty. Oh, and by the way, these shadows, you can use them as a base, but they're not going to need a base. So don't put a base under them, because if you do, it's going to change the formula and it can change the way it dries down. And that means patchiness and not wearing as well. Now, another tip about this type of eye is you want a little bit of it to creep out, no matter your eye shape. What you want to happen is you want a little bit of the darkest shade to creep up right out of the fold. Do you see that fold there? This is my fold. Whee, the things I do for y'all. Oh Lord, her birthday really is coming up. Y'all see that? I was saying before age snuck up on me, you just want this to ever so lightly creep out. See how I did this one over here? You can see that difference. I'm going to soften it a little bit more, but you can see that it's just lightly creeping out. And what that does is it makes the eye look just a little bit bigger. See how the darkness has kind of made it look a little bit smaller because it's only here and here. It makes the eye look a lot smaller. But when you're just able to come out of that socket, just the tiniest amount, just a soft blur out of the socket. And I feel like a cream is something really good to start with, especially if you just do a couple taps in there. And the reason why is because you're able to control cream just a little bit better, because when we dip into, say, a powder shadow, sometimes it can get a little wild. So I think starting with the cream would be a good idea. Now let's take this shade from the palette. And we did not have to set this. What I want to do is just add dimension. Whenever you layer any kind of cream on, or any kind of powder on top of a cream, it just looks more velvety and you just get a little bit more dimension. So we're just going to press that and let that creep out of the socket like I just mentioned. You can already see that difference. This shadow together just looks so soft. You're probably looking at it and going, this looks horrendous. We're not done yet. But this is also important. It's kind of corny, but if you can just wait and just envision. We have to envision. We have to see past this. We have to see past the fallout. We don't have any, but say we did. We have to see past the fallout. We have to see past all of this in here. We have to see past this right here. And just wait for your vision to come together. So we're going to do gray liner. And if you ever want something that isn't quite black, because black, you know, I love a good black liner, but if you don't want that intensity and you don't want the warmth of brown, try a gray. This one from Stila is pretty awesome. And I've really been into my extra large wing era again. Let me thicken that up. Oh, here, Gene Bean. Sleepy boy. Sorry, it accidentally posted without me labeling it. I got too excited, so this is what it is. There's the shade, and that's what it is. I thought it'd be fun to do a double wing, kind of where we just extend from here to here. I actually got a request for that, so I'm going to show you how to do that. But we have to get our foundation on first, so that's a really big tip. You can't really finish it until you get your face on. And then if we need to correct it, we'll need a pot concealer, something very dry. That way we could cover what we need to. I'm putting lash glue on. Duo line it, lash it, and I'll tell you the lashes in just a second. But yeah, so we'll need a really dry pot concealer like the one from NARS. And then we can't start that underneath here until we get our concealer foundation on. So we're gonna wear these Libre lashes. This is the style number 4. Really been enjoying these lashes. Let's use our House Labs foundation. This foundation is gonna look a little off. I love this formula, but when I have a summer shade that matches my summer tan so much better, but this one is gonna look warm and it takes a little bit of effort to get it going. I'm going to use this brush. This is from the travel set. That's from the smudge I just put on it. But it does dry down a lot better, and I just love, love, love the formula. But the colors in my range are just this. So I also wanted to show you this in case you were thinking about the sale. If you have a warmer undertone, you will probably be able to find your shade very easily. But if you're very pink, like my little flamingo self here, you're going to want to think twice. Or you're going to see that it'll dry and it'll look a little, but I was saying it is a beautiful formula. It's fantastic. If you have a warm undertone, you are going to be able to find your shade rather quickly. But if you have a pinker undertone like I do, you might have to be fixing and doing stuff with some bronzer. Now I'm going to grab our concealer brush from the travel set, pick up the tiniest amount of that foundation, focus most of that there. And this is one of the biggest things when it comes to any kind of smoky eye, is just taking some lightly across the top. There is almost nothing on here, but there's enough to soften and blur. Nice. Oh, and by the way, they sent this to me. This is $90. $90 for this. We know Hourglass is a high-end brand, but $90 for these little guys. And I have not tried it. I'm actually going to hop off in a second and film that once I get everything, concealer, everything set. You'll notice I don't use a lot of Hourglass. It doesn't have a lot of impact. And I know some of us want very simple, very easy, very on the go, easy to blend. But to me, I feel that sometimes when things are just really expensive, just for fluff that fluffs away, I don't enjoy that. So we're gonna give it a fair chance. I mean, the packaging's gorgeous, but I do want to see. Well, we're already in this deep. Let's use the concealer, which is also this was not the one that I showed yesterday. So you can see that this one is still pretty warm, but it's not just yellow, so we'll be okay with that. But I thought we'd just pair them together. To be honest, I don't know if I've worn the concealer with the foundation, so I want to do that. And then we'll do that, and then I want to put a little bit of pink on top too. I might have put too much on, but we'll just go for a little bit more glam today. Ooh, we love the concealer brush. So that's how I can kind of tell that a concealer's a hair too light for me. I'm gonna show you. Let me let this slide run out. But I'm gonna show you in just a second. You can just watch it blend. It does blend beautifully, but I can tell that this is just a hair too light. So whenever I'm blending my concealer out, what I'll do is, yes, it's really pretty underneath the eye, but as I start to blend it out, I kind of get this separation. You might not even see it. It does take a little while to be able to notice this. So it's really nice and even here. And then there's almost this emptiness right through here, right on the highest point of my cheekbone where it's kind of going into that foundation. There's a heavy separation. And this type of brightening, like I taught you yesterday, would be really beautiful if there was that base color underneath. And you'll see that I didn't bring my foundation all the way up underneath my eyes. That can sometimes just be too much product and why you might be getting some creasing. But if I had just put in a little bit of a deeper shade underneath here, I wouldn't be getting that separation, which you can start to see right here. That's something to look out for. And let me explain to you why we don't have to do this on the forehead here and why it even looks so good on the chin. All of that is forward. The eyes, they go in. Okay, we see that. That goes in a little. We're just being a human. So because that is in just a little bit, as it should be, there will be shadows that we might not even think of as a shadow. But that's why we need that base underneath that, and that could have saved this concealer. Now you're thinking, what do we do now? Well, now we just grab another concealer that's just similar in shade. We'll grab that Sephora Collection one that we used yesterday, 19.5p. I'm gonna wipe off most of the product. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill in this gap. There you go. Grab your concealer brush. And this isn't something that I feel that we all need to do. It's not an everyday thing, but it is something that we can do to kind of fix any kind of issue. So look at how seamless that is now. Now let's focus most of that here, and then we can take a little bit of it on top just to kind of make sure that we're not having any shadows peek through. There we go. And now it just flows. I'm not getting that separation. And that it's technically not patchiness. It's not patchiness that you're seeing. You're just seeing an intense separation from those colors. I thought that House Labs would match me a little bit better since it's late October now. I'm usually a little bit more fair, but apparently it's still a little too light for me. But there's nothing we can't fix. Remember that. There's nothing we can't fix at any stage in our makeup routine. And another way that we can fix it without doing what I just did, let's just cancel that out, okay? I just want to give you options. Cancel that out. Act like we didn't try to fix it with the concealer. I know exactly how much is on my face, so it's not going to wind up patchy or cakey, but if you're just figuring out how to fix things, it could. So skip that last Sephora concealer. Act like that's not there. Grab a powder that's very close to your skin tone. Okay, just grab one. Tiny amount. Look how little I picked up, okay? But I still need to even that out on the back of my hand. See that? And then we'll just go ahead and set our under eye with this. And that is going to give a little bit of warmth to that concealer. And it's also going to blend that concealer and not have that kind of separation there. And look at how smooth and even and blurred and just all over seamless. I know a lot, and I'm going to show you if you want to get an even brighter eye, we'll just do it with powder. But I know a lot of times these things happen when we don't understand what is happening. But it's little things like this and these little ways that we can fix them without having to restart our makeup. So this Fit Me powder is very close to my skin tone. And also, if I had set my under eye with this color and my concealer was closer to my foundation, it would darken that concealer and my under eye would be too dark. So it feels like it's complicated, but it's not. This is just a really good thing to remember. If your concealer is closer to your foundation, you want something more brightening. If it's too bright, using something that's closer to your skin tone to set is going to balance that. Now say you go, but I want a really bright under eye. Well, have no fear. What we'll do is we'll grab our pink powder. We'll do our Givenchy. We're gonna grab that on the same puff. And if you're feeling really adventurous, I'm just evening that out, we could do the lightest bake. I feel what has happened is a lot of TikTok videos have taught us that we need to put on a ton of powder to bake, but you absolutely do not. Look how bright that is and smooth. And my under eye is not screaming, okay? Let that sit. Give it a little 5-minute sit. But there's not that much on my eye baking. Baking does not mean absolutely piling powder on every single time. It can mean whatever you want it to mean, but it doesn't have to mean heavy. Sorry, I got excited. I love when I'm teaching. I just love it. It warms my heart. But this is the Givenchy powder, shade 03. I'm just gonna lightly set with whatever's left on this puff, just right through the center here, and then I'm gonna do a quick lip. Let's do that too, set there. And then I'm gonna go film the hourglass and I'll be back. But I'm not leaving yet. My face needs bronzer so it matches on here. So let's finish the eye. I'm gonna grab this Infallible eye pencil. This is gonna be pretty close to my skin tone, just a smidge lighter. That glides on really nicely. Bring that all the way over. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a separation here. So this lash is pretty big. You don't have to pull on your eye. My lash is so big you just can't see. So this has nothing to do with the application. But let's just bring it out a little bit. There we go. Forgot to tell you what it was. It's from L'Oreal. It's Infallible. But now I'm going to take the pencil brush from the travel set and I'm just going to soften it. So what we're doing here is we're kind of adding a highlight. We're technically not doing a wing, but we're just giving this wing that we're about to draw underneath here, we're giving it a really nice contrast. So the trick is to not start over here. This over here, let's not even put that there, okay? And the reason why is because this felt tip can sometimes be a little tricky. Can I do it? Absolutely, but I want you to be able to do this. But out here is so much easier to apply it. Also notice how far back I'm holding it. That's gonna give us these very even strokes, okay? And this is where I'm telling y'all, do not worry about this being super perfect. Obviously, we don't want chaos smudge, but I'm gonna show you how to clean that up. Let's grab our Precision Detail brush from the travel set. And this is that dry concealer I was telling you about. And the reason why is we won't need to go back in and set this. I am Hoot Owl. So all we're gonna do is tidy this up and straighten it up a little bit. And this is gonna be a lot easier for me to do in the mirror. But you can see how that just comes together so easily. Fun, right? Now for the rest of the eye, let's grab this darker shade here and just push that into the lash line. So much easier. And if you really want it to be really pigmented, I don't want you to feel like you need all of these products, but this is a really good tip. Here we go. Grab your Hydro Grip. Anything clear like this, it's really gonna make it come to life and it'll almost turn it into kind of a liquid liner. So grab that same shade and then pull it over. Plus you know that you won't have any fallout. There we go. Just connect it. So I'm gonna do just a rough draft with MAC Stone lip liner, and you're not even gonna see me perfect it, and I'm using the lightest touch. Kind of just gives me a guideline, and it also helps whatever I'm about to put on blend in a little bit more seamlessly. Then let's do MAC Blankety lipstick. I was in the mood for a MAC lip. I can spot a MAC lip from a mile away. From across the room, I just know that is a MAC lip because it was my favorite growing up. And now I'm gonna blend it a little bit more, get some more definition, a little bit of overlining. Now let's top it with this gloss. Such a pretty gloss. Ooh. Yeah, that's a MAC lip. It just has a certain quality that I love. Now I'm going to go film this. I'm done here. I'll post pictures and that way we can upload it to YouTube later because this was a very helpful video. But I am going to hop off for good now. I love you all so much. I'm posting an ad tonight, but it's so helpful. It's how to take your makeup from day to night. It's wildly helpful. There's amazing tips in it. But yeah, so I will see you in the comments there tonight.